Welcome, everybody, to Dead Talk Live. And tonight we have a special treat. Justin Chu Cary and Bechir Sylvain from Black Summer are joining us, who were in that memorable season 2 Black Summer episode. I believe it was episode 5, right, guys?
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good. Doing good.
I'm
Just
I'm just so happy that I got the both of you on. You guys had that memorable episode, and I've said this to you guys before. Everyone I've spoken to, even the actors themselves, not including you guys, it was their favorite episode of season 2. So, I mean, hats off, Bashir, Justin. You guys did an amazing job in that episode. And we're going to dive into that more in a little bit. But Bashir, you started telling me, first of all, you and Justin have been friends for a long time, going back to acting school. How long are we talking about here?
We're talking about over 10 years now. Uh,
Damn.
yeah. I remember the first acting class we took, Mr. Mike Beach and Eric LaSalle class, and we've been literally just following each other since then. Like he would go to an acting class and then he'll tell me about it, and I'd be like, oh, okay, cool, let's go. I'll tell him about the acting class. He's like, all right, cool, let me check it out, and we'll go. And we just kept like switching classes together and doing scenes together. And then we got a really beautiful chance to do a play. Well, first we did a web series where I did a web series which I was like, oh, can you be in it? But we never interacted in it. But then when we did a play together, that was the first time we got to work, and then this was one of the most special things I ever happened to me.
Now, Justin, like Bashir said, you guys worked together on that web series, on the play. What was it like doing a TV show? I mean, a whole episode with just you two guys.
I mean, it was, you know, uh, unbelievable. It was one of those things that you don't think can happen. Like I don't even think our dreams were that big. Like we were never like, you know what, I hope one day someone hires us, the two of us, to do an entire episode just us two with nobody else. Like I don't think that even entered our consciousness. So yeah, it was amazing, man. It was beautiful. It was a full circle moment for the two of us. We've been through lots of ups, lots of downs together. We've had each other's back for professional stuff, personal stuff. And yeah, it was just a beautiful moment that I think we'll both cherish, and hopefully not the last one.
No,
But
no. And I've been seeing your guys' pictures that you guys have been posting on social media, of the fun you guys were having behind the scenes shooting
yeah,
that episode. It just looked like you guys had a blast. And it just felt like something really special. Now, Bashir, now the show starts off, that episode, with you following Spears, right? From a
Yeah.
distance. And you start talking. You're definitely a talker. Your character, Brathwaite's a talker on the episode. And you're like, man, I know you from somewhere. Are you from this? And are you from there? Do you think Brathwaite knew all along who Spears, Little James, was and just didn't want to reveal it to him right away?
I think I personally think he did. Um, um, Literally, when he saw for real, for real. I think he kind of like had a hint, and once he really got up close and saw who he really is, he was just like, oh, okay. Because I mean, there's so many hints. Like even when he said his name is Spears, he's like, nah, that ain't it. Like who? If you really think about it, who would deny if somebody was like, hey man, my name is Michael, and you're like, nah,
Nah, nah, nah.
Michael. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was definitely a lot of hints, and it was cool to play around with the idea of also uh, just how insane the world is right now, and so the desperation. So it was a fine line of like, I don't want to show too much that I know everything, but at the same time, I have to play like as if we're building this relationship and then reveal that moment. But it was very important to me that he knew. And when you saw it, I wanted people to go, oh, did he know the whole time? Or did he was he just, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I had to play that game where it's just like, oh, he doesn't know. He's just trying to have a friend. And then when you see it, if you look back and if you really dissect it, you'll know exactly when.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I know who this brother is.
Now, Brathwaite, through all the little hints throughout that episode that we got, is not a killer. He wasn't a murder. Not when I say killer, he's not a murderer. He wasn't a murderer pre-apocalypse. He's not a murderer. He will kill to survive. I'm not saying he won't, but he's not a murderer. Is that how the script was written, or is that your spin that you wanted to put on the character?
I think it was written in there. I mean, in the script, he didn't even shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the script, I asked him to shoot. I was like, look, I don't want him to look like a punk. Can he at least shoot one zombie? I was like, I got street cred. I can't have a rifle the whole time and not shoot it at least once. But I was not about that. But again, it added to the whole illusion of, because there's also the idea of it's part of his imagination, everything like that. But you're absolutely right. I think Brathwaite, if anything, was probably a server. Somebody that basically runs the errands or whatever. He's the talkative person, he's the people person. I can get you this, I can get you that, whatever. But as far as being a murderer, absolutely not. And
No.
I think the script helped push that narrative even more.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Justin, there's been a whole bunch of speculation, which I don't personally buy into, that whole episode was a hallucination for Spears. I don't really buy it. What's your take on that?
I actually always read it as it was a hallucination for Spears.
I mean, Spears is hurt. He's dying. Yeah.
Yeah, he's hurt. He's dying. I think, and it's leading us up to episode 7. I think there's, for me, this whole episode is about learning forgiveness, and, the Brathwaite's line, bygones, as it's kind of been all over Instagram. Every time we post a picture together, people are like, bygones, and but I think that's the theme of the episode. It's about learning to let go, learning to forgive, and which I think he's ultimately wrestling with for re-encountering with Rose.
Exactly. Now, Bechir, that moment where you guys are trying to start that campfire and Spears empties the chamber from his gun, you had that look for a split second, like, oh shit, this guy's gonna take me out. Is that the look you were going for? Like a little bit of fear? It lasted a split second, but you're like, what the hell is he doing?
No, it was more of like, is he gonna do something about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he? Did I make a mistake? Number one, giving him the gun. And then it was just like, and the thing is, because I watched it the other day, and I was just the thought I remember in my mind was like, is he gonna? You know what I'm saying? Like, does he know? Does he not know? And if it's so quick. It's so quick. But literally, like, the thought was more like, did I fuck up? Did I fuck up?
Gotcha.
Did I fuck up? And then he's like, boom, I'm like, oh, good idea, let's go. Maybe I trusted him way too much. Maybe he does know. Maybe he does, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that really helped a lot. But it was cool that they captured that, because I was, man, John, the whole team did such an incredible job of making sure that they really captured all of our moments, man. It was such a, man, I gotta give them a shout out and a lot of love, and just letting them know, like, these guys are so professional and so detail oriented, man. And it hurts me sometimes when I see people and they're like, the show, it's just like a zombie. I'm like, man, if you really break this thing down, you'll see the amount of work that goes in, from the makeup artists, from the lighting. I mean, everything is so detail oriented and so great that, yeah.
And I also think, both John and Abram, who are the only two directors of the show, they're such cinephiles.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of they're pulling from so many different references, things that I have not seen. They'll be like, oh, have you ever seen this 1962 French film? And I'm like, nope, haven't seen it. 1977.
About the bridge.
Was that?
what was that movie he made us watch with the bridge, and then the guy was
Sorcerer.
Yeah, it was so dope.
Yeah, it was so good. I bet, but they have such obscure and deep references that they're pulling from for a specific shot, or just the way they want the episode to feel. And so the creators of this, I mean, I think there's a reason why this show is so good. Is they're really combining so many different pieces of cinema. So yeah, I mean, credit to those guys.
Oh yeah.
And allowing all the ideas to exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing to be like, all right, this is what it is, and it's just gonna be that. But when you allow all the ideas from, maybe it is an hallucination, maybe it is a real thing. Like, when you do that, because at the end of the day, the audience is gonna make up its mind. We're doing this, for the entertainment. But it was very rare to see a place where every idea worked.
It did.
You know what I'm saying? It helps.
Well, and then it allowed us to have these kind of conversations that we're having now, right? Like John is a big believer in not holding the audience's hand. He likes to treat the audience as smart individuals, so he likes to leave things really vague and let the audience figure it out. And he always says, the audience's imagination is scarier than anything I can create.
Yeah. That's why that whole hallucination thing, it could be, it couldn't be. Yeah. We don't know. Now, do you think, Bechir, when Brathwaite finally reveals to Spears, Little James, who he really is around that campfire, what do you think pushes Brathwaite to actually give him the big clue to reveal your identity, which ultimately led him to figuring out he was supposed to kill you, and you survived it? You think what pushed Brathwaite to make that decision around that campfire?
Well, the survival instinct. I mean, there's two of us. If we're going to hang around long enough, I got to be able to make sure that, number one, we are able to interact with each other. And also, I mean, I would add the alcohol as well, too. The alcohol and all of that, especially after the peanut thing, which really allowed me to be loose and make fun of him. But then it was just like, okay, let me see where he's at. Because if it's gonna end, let's end it now. If we're gonna hash it out, let's hash it out now. Because we're in a vulnerable place. We're in the woods. We're both drunk, and we gotta either move forward or not move forward. So if we're gonna do this, because even the I said it. I was like, hey, I'd rather eat this now instead of dying.
Yeah.
I've been saving this. I've been saving this for a very specific moment. So even that thought alone is like, okay, cool. This is a special moment. If I'm gonna share this with you, that means either we're gonna continue this journey together, regardless of what I know, or we don't.
All right. Now, Justin, that's when the whole bygones thing was really coming up. Why do you think Brathwaite stopped short of telling you, hey, you put two in my back and you thought I was dead? Why do you think Spears stopped? I mean, why do you think Brathwaite stopped short of telling Spears the whole story and let you try to figure it out, if you do remember it?
Honestly, my short answer, I think he just liked fucking with me. I think he liked. I think that was his upper hand. I think he liked knowing that he knew that I didn't know. Yeah. And so I think that's it kept him on their higher playing field.
Okay, that makes total sense. He wanted to keep that upper hand. Now, one of the most overlooked or not talked about scenes in that episode is when you guys go into that, when you're running away from the zombies, and you go into that cabin and you see that mass murder / suicide that took place with the one guy still alive, the cult leader you would suspect, saying he was waiting for you. Now, did Spears, Justin, think anything of this guy besides being maybe a crazy, and I'm going to fulfill his last wish? He wants me to take him out? He says he's been waiting for me? Fine, I'll take him out. Or was there anything more to that?
I think there was a little bit more for I think Spears. I think I don't know. I think for him, it was that moment was the final straw for Spears. I feel like, seeing all the carnage that has happened, over the 6 months that they've been in this apocalypse, and then finally seeing this mass suicide, and then seeing this guy, and then popping him, for me was a moment of like, and I'm done, and like, and again, if Brathwaite is kind of a figment of his imagination, and he's throwing up in the background, I use that as what Spears is feeling on the inside, like, puking, out of disgust. And I think it was this final moment of seeing the craziness that this world has become, and he's just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Gotcha. Now, Bechir, let's flip characters. Let's say you were the one in the lead in that occult house, and you had, the gun on him. Does Brathwaite pull the trigger on that dude, or no?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he'll try to talk him out of it.
After seeing all the carnage, like the mass,
he'll make a lot of he'll probably make. No, I mean, seeing that carnage would definitely mess him up. But again, to Spears' point, is like seeing that much evil will always mess you up. It will definitely mess me up. And understanding like these people took their lives for this, and here is an opportunity to survive and make it different. I wouldn't grant him that wish. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, like because I've learned it as Brathwaite, because I've done my own journey and I almost died, and so I have the gift of life. So hence my character and my jovial ways, because I'm like, dude, I survived, 2 bullets. So for me to trying to do that to somebody else, especially that one time, I'll be like, nah. I'd probably say, hey man, you probably just need some sun.
Yeah. Now the big
and I'll also say, there's a little overlap too. I mean, I think I don't know. I don't want to say it gave Spears the idea, but he does the same thing. This guy asks, Spears to take him out, and then he asks Anna, and with the same gun.
Wow.
So I think there's some overlap there.
Yeah. I didn't realize that till you just said it, but you're absolutely correct. Now, Bechir, there's like you guys said, John Hyams, great director, Abram Cox as well, a great director. This show has a lot of, like you said, they don't like to serve it up to the viewers on a silver platter. The White Horse, big metaphor. Is that like, for me, it was like a metaphor of redemption, bygones. What do you think? What was your take on that whole White Horse when you were acting the scenes out and when you read the script?
The first time we see the White Horse, there is this, especially the person riding the horse. For me, it was just like, oh, okay, cool. Death, and he had skulls. And I'm like, okay, this is death trying to chase us. But the White Horse at the end for me represented freedom, like pure freedom in a sense of no matter what happens, I'm good. Like I am no longer gonna try to allow myself to make sense out of all of this, and I could finally find peace and try to be part of this world regardless of what happens. You know what I'm saying? And my horse really represented so much freedom. So whether he pulled the trigger or not, my mind was already like, I'm out there, man. I'm ready to go. So it was a beautiful symbol for me. It was literally just freedom, and also the fact that he never, like, I never rode a horse before. I don't even know why I want to ride a horse, but never rode it. And there is something about that. There is something about going to the unknown and going, you know what? Let's go. Let me try it. And to see such a beautiful, peaceful animal like that.
That's why you started taking horseback riding lessons?
Yeah.
You see on his Instagram, he's been riding horses and stuff. Like,
I've been riding horses right after this, and I think it inspired me as well too. My dad was love horses, and also like riding horses made me even more realize like how spiritually connected it is, because they're such beautiful beings, and they take in your spirit, they take in your energy. you know. So if you're like tensed up, they're tensed up. So you have to literally learn to let go. My coach always tells me, he's like, let go, relax, relax, relax. So knowing that information now is definitely in a sense of like, relax, let everything be, let it be, and just go with it, go with the flow.
I assume on the set, even if you did ask, they wouldn't let you ride that horse.
Couldn't even guide the horse.
Oh man! Now, Justin, I took that white horse. I mean, purely for Brathwaite's character, not for Spears so much. Do you agree? If it wasn't a hallucination. If it was a hallucination, then it's your subconscious.
Right. I mean, similar to what Bechir said, I took it with the man on the horse. I always took it as death coming for him, you know. And then at the end, when the horse is just there by itself, you know, it's a good question. I think I always looked at it as a hallucination, and so it was there for me, and it represented. For me, it was the horse kind of walking off was kind of his conscious finally walking off, or his mind kind of his like mental state was kind of breaking at that point, you know. But if Brathwaite was real, I think like Bechir said, it was freedom.
Freedom. Now, Bechir, do you think Brathwaite knew that while you had your back turned to Spears, he had to drop on you with the gun? I mean, he was pointing it right at the back of your head. You think he knew?
I don't think it mattered. At that point, it didn't matter. When he said, I remember now. I remember doing this. I remember my heart just falling to the ground like, okay, you knew this was going to happen. All right. Like, because, you know, you go through all these scenarios. I was like, if I tell him, he's going to either try to kill me or not kill me. But at that moment, with the way he said it and just hearing from his voice, I was just like, all right, now I have to be okay with whatever the decision is. So it didn't matter whether he pointed a gun or not. You know, my place was like, I'm going to be at peace. Whether you shoot me or not, I'm here. And then the timing, man, John, so good. Because we shot it a couple different ways. But the timing, when he told me, I remember you whispered in my ears and he was like, at any given point, just walk away. And I remember the cameraman didn't know that I was walking away. And he was like, what is he doing? And so, you know, so I was just like, all right, cool. And just like the timing of knowing when to just like take that step was literally when I finally like released everything. And it was just like, all right, I'm good. So he's either going to shoot me while I'm walking or doesn't.
He doesn't, exactly. Now, Justin, for you...
I also didn't know he was going to walk away. So it was... I was also like, the actor Justin's like, what's he doing?
That's John Himes trying to get a really legitimate reaction from you. Now, Justin, what do you think it represents when Spears does not take the shot? Is that Spears finally accepting bygones, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's Spears finally accepting bygones and letting go and forgiving. You know, I think, and again, I think that final moment of him shooting the cult leader was him having enough. I think in that moment he's done with killing, with shooting, with death, carnage, you know, and I think he's finally just like letting go and wants some rest, and as he says, he's tired, you know, and wants some peace and quiet.
Yeah. Now, raising the gun in the first place, the way I took that was you still trying to be loyal to your big brother. What do you take? Do you agree? I mean, what was your reason that you thought of as to why Spears would raise the gun up to Brathwaite?
I'm gonna go with your answer. That was a good answer. I actually didn't think of that.
Yeah, I thought that he was I assumed that your brother called a hit for Brathwaite.
Yeah.
Made you carry it out, and it was a way for you to honor your brother.
And also added something like, dude, you know what I'm saying? Like it made me think of like, what did I do so bad that you still want to kill me? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So if we ever get to see the Freed stuff, like, I was like, it was so important for me to be dead. For me to get shot twice in the back, and then for him to even want to raise, because there was a little hint of anger. I remember, like, watching it, I'm like, oh wow, like, because she was just like, oh, I killed your motherfucking. I was like, oh shoot, okay, well, like, I thought we were cool, brother. Like,
well, for me, it was Spears didn't want anyone to know who he was. I think he was trying to, run from his past. And also the whole storyline with all of the money and Brathwaite started asking about the money again. I think he's just covering up his past and covering up his tracks.
Doesn't want anybody to find out what he was before,
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Now, during shooting, when you guys were in the woods, I guess some unexpected rain happened. How was it working in the damn woods? Is the rain? I mean, how did you guys and the crew handle that? Bechir.
well, first of all, Calgary is amazing. I'm just gonna say that from the jump, because it was so beautiful. There were times I was laying on the ground and I thought I was on set. And I was like, wait a minute, this is real dirt, Bechir. This is not a set. This is real life. It's so beautiful. The air is beautiful. Everything is so great. But when they told us about the rain thing, and I've done I forgot which show I did, but I did something where I had to work on the rain, and I remember how comfortable it was because the water was warm and everything is great. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be, we're just gonna be like, like one of those old movies where you see them, they're talking perfectly fine and the rain is just dripping on them like Road to Perdition. I was like, man, they're really kind of calm to be able to shoot, and it's raining so hard. But then when they did it, whatever the machine that's supposed to make the water warm was broken. So it was freezing. Like, I'm talking about, like, teeth shattering, freezing. And so we're just like, oh, and we have a wetsuit on, and then we have the layer of clothes, to the point where we couldn't take any breaks because we were like, there's no point. Because they're like, oh, you guys want to take a break, warm up, and then come back? I was like, nah, there's no point, because we're just going to get even colder and we're going to miss the heat.
Yeah, the transition, the initial shock is worse than just, once you're in the cold, it's like getting out of a pool, right? You're just like, let me just stay in it, But and not to mention, it was also like, 8 degrees outside. So meanwhile, the rest of the crew, everyone had puff jackets on and, beanies and heat vests and whatnot. And me and Bechir, we were mad. Remember, like, and we shot through the night. So by like 4 a.m, we're like literally teeth chattering, like hands numb. We're just so cold, and we forget we're mic'd, and we start cursing. We're like, man, this is bullshit. And then the director and DP are like, we can hear you guys. We're like, oh, whatever, we're cold.
When he snaps at me in the rating scene, he like really just snaps. Like, he was just like, man, Garbo, motherfucker.
Fuck this.
Yeah, no, it wasn't much acting needed in that.
Oh, man.
Now, Bechir, we heard Justin tell the story about the rabbit shit and like the Tootsie Roll. I want to hear you tell that story.
So, because we know each other for a while, and the more you talk to me, you realize I'm kind of a joker. But I remember going up, I think it was like the second day of shooting. Yeah, it was the second day of shooting. I went up.
I think it was the first day of shooting.
It was the first day?
Yeah.
No, it was the second. It had to be the second. I wasn't that bold. No, because the first day we did the car scene. We did the water and all that stuff. Because I remember it was the next day. Because I remember talking to him and I was just like, all right, John, I want to play a little trick on Justin. Because I always get there early. I like to just be there and look at the environment and just pretty much map out what I'm going to do. And then when they were explaining to me, the prop person was like, all right, these are Tootsie Rolled and nothing. And I was like, oh, but it looks so real. And I was like, okay, please do not tell Justin this. And he was like, I remember the prop guy was like, Yes. And I was like, yes. So he was in. So I'm going up to John. I was like, John, look, a little something to Justin. I'm gonna pretend like this is real. So you just let it go. He's like, oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. He's like, great. So, so Justin comes in. He's like, hey guys, whatever. And the prop guy, he has to show us everything. The prop guy comes in. He's like, hey, so these are organic feces, rabbit feces. They're actually real. They're organic. He's like, there's nothing wrong. We have like he came up. The dude came up with like a whole thing about like it was grass fed and
he came up with a whole backstory.
Exactly. And I remember Justin going, oh. He's like, so does that mean we could eat it? And then I remember my face going like, and she's like, I don't think you should. And I remember I was like smelling, I was like, ooh, and I was pretending like it was bad. I was like, oh man, no. So Justin's like, all right, whatever. And action. So I go up, I grabbed it, and I'm like, yeah, definitely rabbit. And I gotta give him props. Justin did not break. Justin, if anything, intensified his look. He was like, he intensified his look, and I'm like, oh my God, he's not laughing. So I'm like, all right, cool, let's go. And then cut, and everybody's laughing, and Justin is like, motherfucker. He's like, dude, come on, man. Please tell me you didn't eat that. Please tell me. I was like, what? He's like, dude, you're doing too much, Bechir. He's like, dude, you're doing too much, man.
Justin, did you do anything to get back at him on the set?
You know what? I didn't, but he has it coming. But it was funny because my look as I was like, well, he committed to this, so let me not ruin this take, if they want to use it. That's what was going through my head. And then also, Bechir, he can get real method, and I know him well enough to where he's like, yo, I'm going to go all the way in. And so when he did it, I was like, dude, calm down. Are you kidding me right now? Like, Jesus.
That's an awesome story.
Yeah, this ain't an Oscar performance, man. Like, let's just...
like, only a guest star, bro. Like, for real. Like, come on, man. So good.
Now, one of the question marks in that episode that I don't know if it will not get answered in future seasons. What happens to Brathwaite? All right. Now, in your mind, Bechir, what do you think happened after that scene, you walking towards the white horse to where Justin shows up at the lodge? This is your own thoughts. How do you fill in that gap?
I mean, I first he learns how to ride. Takes him a couple hours, and then once he finally gets that trust of that horse, I think he I don't know whether or not the cabin that I was talking about is true or not. That's the only thing that I haven't made up. But since we're just having fun,
yeah.
I would say that he would try to go to that cabin that he said that he knows, but then find out that it's emptied out. That people came in and took everything. Everything is gone, and now he's like, oh, the one safe haven that I thought I would have, it's gone. So now he has to try to find another place. But at least now he has a horse. Yeah. So it's just him dodging the zombies with the horse. So it becomes a story with him and a horse and zombies and trying to find a place. Like my secret thought is that would be kind of cool if they have a season 3. If they don't go backwards and they go forward, like randomly, I don't even need to be like in a lot of episodes. I just want a moment where out of nowhere Brathwaite comes in and saves the day on a horse. Like, come on! Like, I just want to be able to just come in like right in there. Everybody go, yo, this Brathwaite, and I'm like, come on, let's go.
Like John Wayne in a Western coming in to save the day. Now.
That's one thing I would love to happen.
Now, Justin, how do you rationalize it from the time? Because it's obvious you guys sort of go your separate ways. He goes with the horse. You continue on and you stumble upon the lodge. And you said that you took it as Spears hallucinating. So after you guys went your separate ways, you think that was it for Spears? He's like, man, I'm losing my mind. This is the bullet. I'm infected, it's spreading through my body. And he not forgot, we know he didn't forget the whole exchange with Brathwaite, but how do you think he rationalized it to himself?
Well, I definitely don't think I don't think he thought he was losing his mind, and I'm not sure if Spears knew it was a hallucination. I think that was kind of the choice for me.
Okay.
In understanding the storyline and what was happening as Justin the actor. But I think for Spears, I think I think he is. I've never been shot before, but I've never been shot and dying before. But I've been sick, and you start to imagine things, and you start to, kind of feel a little loopy or whatever. And so I can only imagine being shot, being in the cold, trying to get to the next place. I think he doesn't know if it was a hallucination. I don't know if it was if he knew he was real. I think he just knew he came to terms with what he needed to get to see Rose again.
Okay. All right. Now, Bechir, what was it like for you walking onto the set, season 2, Black Summer, with Justin, who you obviously know, Jamie, Christine? Was it a very warm, inviting environment? Like we heard Jamie explain it, Justin explain it, Christine. Explain the feelings you got when you first walked onto the set.
Man, that feeling started since the day I came to support him in season 1. Like I came in and supported him and watched the first season at the premiere, and I was just like, and Jamie just welcomed me in the most amazing way. And we're both, from the actor studio, so already we were like another level of connection. But on set, man, I was lucky to have worked with the makeup artist as well too on Claws, Ashley. And it was just a dream, man. And especially like I told somebody before, it was the first time where, yes, everybody's there to do their job, but everybody had the same goal to make a great thing. It wasn't just a job. Everybody's art was being fulfilled in one way. I saw Ashley, how excited she was about, creating the stars and all that stuff. And the costume designer, they were excited about it. It wasn't just like, oh, I got to do this costume thing for this job. Like every single person was just like, there was this excitement, this creativity, and this energy of just like, man, we're doing something great than just another paycheck, which made it beautiful, and I think, I wasn't there for the whole time, but it was just very exciting and also addictive, because I was just like, man, look at all these people just wanting to win, and especially we did it during COVID. So to see how much care they took to make sure that everything was done correctly, to make sure that we feel comfortable. Everyone felt uncomfortable, from making sure we have the areas that we needed, and when me and Justin needed something, they were there. I mean, it was I could say it, like, by far one of the best sets I've ever worked on, ever.
Now, this is to both of you guys. I believe, Justin, you posted, like, from Hollywood Insider the other day, the numbers, I believe, from Netflix, and Jamie reposted it. Crazy numbers, how popular season 2 is. Starting with Justin, you've been on this show for 2 full seasons. How does that make you feel?
Oh man, good.
Did you ever expect it to reach the level that it is reaching? I mean, you got first of all, we have to admit, when a show premieres, season 1, season 2, it takes a while to build up that loyal following. Now that Black Summer has 2 seasons under its belt, it's definitely built up its credibility, and there are people clamoring as to, why hasn't Netflix announced there's going to be a season 3 yet? What's the holdup,
Yeah.
So, is this, I mean, Justin, this has to be a new experience to be on a series that has built up from season 1 to season 2 and has become so popular. I'm assuming you've never experienced anything like this before. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, you're very correct. I mean, this was my first lead in a series. And so, you, as an actor, you're ready to take any job that's given to you,
Yeah.
Especially at this point in our careers, you kind of audition, and you hope you get something, and you pretty much will take anything, especially when the rent's due.
Exactly.
So to book this a couple years ago, I wasn't sure what I was walking into, and so for it to become what it's become, it's what the dreams is made of, it's what you can only hope to be a part of something like this,
How I gotta ask you this, Justin? How has your career changed since season 2 came out? I mean, is your agent? Are you getting scripts now, left and right, more than before Black Summer? You're getting more audition offers. You're auditioning more. How has life changed for you because of Black Summer?
Well, I just did a movie with Dustin Hoffman, so. So
that's something.
That wasn't happening before. But yeah, I mean certainly the frequency of auditions and the kind of auditions I get have definitely changed. It used to be a lot of guest stars and co-star roles, and pretty much now everything is lead roles. And yeah, it completely changed my career.
Bechir, how does that make you feel about your friend?
Oh man, freaking amazing! I'm like, go ahead, man, so you could do another show and put me in it.
Now, Bechir, you have a long resume as well on TV shows and movies. Since season 2 of Black Summer came out, has anything changed for you in that? Even though you were in that, that episode, that amazing episode, have you noticed any change in more calls, more roles being offered, or anything like that?
No, I absolutely. I mean, like the show finally got. I mean, yes, but I have a lot of credit, but this one is super important for me because it actually got to expose a little bit more depth of what I could do. Because usually it's, I'm either playing a gangster or I play the baby daddy, or it was very like two-dimensional characters. But this one was a hint and allowed people to really see. Those who know, they know. And those who don't know, they just found out about what I could really do.
Exactly.
So it was it's definitely changed. I've had a lot of people call me up and go, wow, man, I had no clue. Or, even the writer himself, Henry, who wrote the episode with John, he hit me up and he's like, man, I want to work with you. I want to write things for you. And I'm getting a couple people just wanting to work with me. So it's cool. It is.
I got to say too, Bechir he's a hilarious dude. And, a lot of his resume is comedic, so I think a lot of people in the industry knew him as a comedic actor.
Yeah.
And right. So I mean, you give him a comedic script, he's gonna bring the laughs.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But I don't think they knew just how good of a dramatic actor he is, and so I'm so happy that this got to showcase some of that.
Me too. Bechir, let's talk some about your other works for a little bit. In Bigger, there's a commentary on homelessness. How did you tackle that subject in doing research for the character Willie?
Man, L.A. Seeing what
Skid Row, like.
More importantly, I remember when they offered me that role. That was the first thing that came into my mind because I was like, okay, it's a comedy, and I'm like, I don't want this to be making fun of the homeless at all, and I at that time the Skid Row was just in a very bad place, and I've gone there and I've helped out. I've done some community stuff there. I've passed out burritos and stuff to people, and really I've been there, and so it was really important to me to make sure that I brought levity to it, and I'm glad that they trusted me with that role to bring that, and what I brought was a lot of drama into it, to be honest. There are some funny moments, and I didn't know if it was gonna hit because I'm like, yo, this is a comedy and I'm doing like real work, I mean, not that it's not real work, but
Oh, I
I'm
get
talking
it. Yeah.
dramatic work, and it worked out to the point where there was an article that came out and they were saying how that character really stood out, and they were very glad that we tackled that topic. So kudos for the writer Felicia, who decided to keep that character going, and also really creating a character that kind of like yeah, you fall in love with him, but yes, it's still a comedy, but you're still able to feel his journey. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, especially he was a vet as well too, so I was just like, yeah. I kind of I do a lot of research and do my own stuff. I remember like talking to them about even the fatigue. I was like, well, so what year? I was such that dude, and they were just looking at me like, all right, he's one of these guys. Look, man, he just I was like, all right, don't worry about it, let me figure it out. So I figured it out myself, but it was dope. It was dope that they allowed me to be creative with him.
So you've dabbled in directing and you've done some writing as well. How important is it moving forward in your career to continue pursuing directing and writing, or is being an actor really what you only want to do?
I don't know, man. I think nowadays it's almost impossible to just be one thing in this industry. It's literally almost impossible. Like those days of just like, I just want to be an actor. It's hard. It's really, really hard. And so I'm glad that I've already had that bug in me since my theater days. I've directed some plays with my company, and I've always had this voice of wanting to share these stories and comedic stories and all that stuff. So I know for a fact that I want to be a content creator. I want to be able to one day create these stories that I'm very passionate about, and also direct, because I really like directing a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got a hypothetical for you, all right? You are directing. How much would you love to be directing this guy right here, Justin? And Justin, would you take that job?
Man, I don't know, because I feel like Bechir would just be like, man, you're not even doing it right. Here, step aside. Let me see what I'm talking about.
I would have fun, because I know I would play so many tricks on him that he probably walk out and say, like, look, for real, Bechir, you need to stop. All right, you're not about to make me do these things.
She would go so far as like, it's not even a real movie.
If this is the comedy, he's in trouble.
Now, Bechir, you are from Haiti. What is it like, a Haitian American coming into the Hollywood entertainment industry?
Man, it's it's a dream come true, man. Every Caribbean person will tell you that is like something that your family definitely frown upon, and it's not something that you aspire to be in. And number two, especially for the Haitian community, we don't have. I can't count how many. I could maybe count maybe 2 people or 3 people that I could say that represent us.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Jean Louis is the only one that's known enough, but not people don't even know. Like, he was in Claws, and he was in what was the superhero movie, and he played the Haitian.
Heroes.
What was the name of that show?
Heroes.
No, Heroes. Yeah, Heroes. But yeah, like, to be able to be, and there's a lot of younger ones that are coming out too, like Jean-Élie, Catfish, Shane, Premier, Karina. We all are that young generation that's working finally. So I'm super excited. We're all super excited to finally represent our country, and not only do our story, but it's cool to see how our way of approaching our work kind of mirrors our culture. So it's kind of cool when people see our work and they go, "Wow, you guys are a little different." I'm like, "Yes, finally, we're being seen in a different light." So it's so exciting, and that's what keeps me going, to be honest with you. When it's down, and the downs are really down, that's the thing that keeps me motivated to go. No, I can't give up, because my whole life,
Yeah.
I've been dying to see a representation. And now that I have that responsibility to be one, I got to follow through.
Now, we see, everybody could see the passion that you have to bring stories to life, whether it's acting, directing, producing, writing, doesn't matter. When did you first realize, how old were you, how young were you when you realized this is where your passion laid?
Oof. I was old. Apparently, my brother would tell you I was insane. I was always around, like, making noises, and I was mimicking animals and dancing like Michael Jackson. I've always loved entertainment, but I never thought that I would do it. It was just something that was fun for me to just, like, oh, look, I could beatbox and I could sing and I could do all this stuff. But I never, the thought was never like, and then one day I'm going to be. It was just like, I could do these things, but I want to be a lawyer. And it was until my senior year in high school, actually, because and I did my junior year, I did West Side Story, and I did so many acting stuff. But it was literally my senior year when I did fences for the competition. You know, they have like the state competition, and for all the theater nerds out there, we do the state competition, and you win Critics' Choice, and I won Critics' Choice. And I remember doing the piece from Fences where I played Corey. And I remember how it hit home so much and how it was just like so personal. And I remember seeing 3,000 people watching me on stage and how I felt after I did it and how they were moved. And I just remember going, wow, I could actually make an impact on people, because it was such a personal journey about a son and a father, and how the son doesn't feel that he's being treated fairly from his father. And at that time I was going through a lot, because my dad was not around and I missed him so much. Yeah. And so even this dysfunctional relationship, I wanted it, you know? And so I got to express it, and I really expressed. I remember the other actor who's the same age playing my dad, and he's looking at me and I'm like falling out like, ah! And he's just like, "You all right, man?" But to see how people were touched by it, and my teachers, and going, wow, man, you really impact me and you brought something so different to me. That's when I was like, yeah, I need to do this. I really need to.
That's a great story. Now, we're almost out of time, but Justin, I got to ask you, the first time we ever spoke last fall, you had pretty much just finished shooting season 2 of Black Summer. And you look the same as you do right now. This is a question that a lot of people have asked. Even me, when I first sat down to watch season 2, I'm like, damn, there's something different about Justin. And it's not the beard. You've got a beard, not as long as it was in the movie, but it looked like you came out of 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. You were kind of like, your face was kind of swollen. Is that makeup? What the hell did they do to you, man?
Wow.
Bechir, back me up. I mean, when you saw it, he doesn't look like this.
First season or second season?
Second season.
Well, we shot that after the real pandemic, so I was coming out. I was coming out of the real pandemic and being stuck in my house with my 4-year-old, and
it was crazy. They asked us to keep this before the pandemic. So we already started to grow these stuff. So when they were like, oh, okay, we're going to hold you guys for 2 more weeks and then we'll shoot again, we're like, all right, cool. And then when we find out that, okay, we might not shoot for a while, you know, making the decision of like, well, do we cut it or do we just keep it? And I think the pandemic allowed us to be like,
don't forget that we didn't know when we were going back. So, you know, every couple of weeks they'd be like, oh, yeah, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Oh, another couple of weeks. So I just kind of like just kept it, you know. If I had known it was going to be a 6-month hiatus, I would have trimmed it down. And then, but my showrunner always says he didn't expect to cast somebody in the role of Spears who's quite still handsome. and so he always goes, man, you too pretty. Put some more blood on him. You know, put a scar on him, put a cut on him. Like, that first season, I remember he was just like, this isn't gonna work. We're just gonna put blood on you. We're gonna cut you up. So he always, I mean, I was totally game. Like I loved it. It made me feel totally in character. So yeah, but it was definitely John's doing of kind of making me look as awful as possible.
Yeah, no, I didn't say awful. I didn't say awful, but like I said, you look like you've had better days. That's all. You know. In the end, when just before you let Zoe take you out, and you're like, I'm still Fly, right? I'm like, Spears will always be Fly, right? Right, Bechir?
Yeah.
And I haven't given up. This is not a question, but we know the trademark of Black Summer is non-linear storytelling. I haven't given up on, there should be a season 3. I don't see a reason why there wouldn't, why both of you guys are not back in season 3 in one way or another. That's what I'm hoping for, at least, because you guys definitely brought the magic in that season, in that episode. I mean, kudos, congrats to both of you. That there's a reason why that episode, out of the entire season 2, is everyone's favorite, and it's not because of the action. It's about storytelling, man. It's about two people coming together and just giving us their story, and that's, I think, what made it so impactful. And both you guys nailed it. Thank you. Congratulations to both of you. You absolutely nailed it. And the fact that you guys are friends for so long, it has to have contributed to the chemistry that you guys brought on the screen. It has to.
And I think Bechir and I, we gave it all we had. I think I can speak for Bechir when I say that, and we had so much time with the script. We had so much time to talk about it, and we rehearsed, and we did everything we could to make that episode good, and we put our all into it. And Bechir, do you remember this story? the very final take of shooting that episode, they shoot things out of sequence, and so the final thing we did was us running to the cabin and the door open to get in. And so the final take, they were like, all right, guys, give it all you got. And we were like, all right. So we full sprint, we bust the door open, and then of course it's wet from rain. And so we slip, we fall. I land on my back. Bechir tumbles over me. He hits me, and then he falls on his back, and we're laying next to each other. And they're like, cut! Perfect! That's a wrap. And we're just laying there on our backs, just out of breath, wind knocked out of us.
It was definitely a nice day, because there's no way we would have been able to do another one.
Yeah.
It was so perfect, because if they would have said, all right, guys, do one more, I would have been like, nah, we're good. Yeah. Nah.
We just laid on that floor, just looked over at each other like, damn, we did it.
Yeah.
You guys did, and you guys did an awesome job. I want to thank you both for coming on. It's been an honor. Justin, Bechir, you guys are, talented beyond words. Thank you so much for coming on our show, sharing your stories of Black Summer and your careers. We'll be definitely talking again. So stay safe. Look forward to seeing both you guys on the screen. Looking forward to that Dustin Hoffman movie, Justin. And like I said, I'm just looking forward to seeing both you guys in movies and TV for many years to come. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on. Thank you to all our viewers for tuning in.
I have one more thing I have to tell you before we get off that I've been meaning to tell you. You look just like our showrunner, John.
John Hyams. Yeah.
John, I don't know if you've seen a picture of him, but you guys could be twins. I'm telling you.
Jamie told me that. Jamie told me that. Yeah, yeah.
And even just your essence is very similar.
Well, I'm going to take that as a compliment, because that is one creative dude right there.
Yeah.
I'm definitely taking that as a compliment. So thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you to all our audience. Till next time, stay safe. On behalf of Bechir and Justin, stay walking, guys. Until next time. Bye.